Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple desk/vanity here. I'm going to start by grabbing my 1x2s. I'm going to cut 8 at 27.5, 4 at 21 1/8, and 8 at 22.5. Here I'm going to add some pocket holes here for the pocket screws. That way it kind of gives a little bit more added strength. I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 of those 27.5 and grab a 21 1/8 and attach all 3 of those together at the bottom there using those pocket screws. I'm going to go ahead and make 4 of these so all 4 be the same. You should have exactly 24 inches here for the width. You'll go ahead and grab 2 of those that I just made and grab a 22.5 and go ahead and attach 2 of those at the bottom here and do that on each side. So basically I'm making a square at the bottom and the top will be open. As you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and add some wheels to the bottom of this. This isn't necessary. This is kind of up to you if you prefer to have them or not. It's just kind of a nice feature to make it easier to move around. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my 6-foot 1x2 and I'm going to go ahead and put some pocket holes in here to be able to attach it to the bottom and top portion, as you'll see here in just a minute. But once I get those pocket holes in there, what I'm going to do next is go ahead and put it on top here and go ahead and attach it to the other 1x2 that I already pre-built. Go ahead and screw those together, and also if you notice I have pocket holes on the up and bottom portion of it. That way I can attach it and also attach the top portion of the actual tabletop that will go on top of that. It has a nice, good, secure connection. Here I have my 1x2s that are 22.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and add all 4 of those here in the middle. This kind of helps give it a nice and good added strength to it. Next, I'm going to grab my 1x12s. I'm going to cut 2 of those at 6 feet, and then I'm also going to grab a 1x3, and I'm going to cut that at 6 feet as well. So all 3 of those should be exactly 6 feet long, and this will be the tabletop portion that we're going to attach next. Once you have those 2 1x12s cut and that 1x3 cut, I'm going to go ahead, as you can see here, I'm using those bottom portion of the pocket screws that I pre-drilled earlier, and using that to attach this 1x12 to the actual top portion of the desk here. Once I get that done, I'm going to do the same thing, but also want to make sure I put some wood glue down, just kind of help give it a nice, good connection there. And I put that 1x3 in between the 2 1x12s, and it gives it a perfect, exact width that I'll need to have my tabletop here. Now that I have that top portion attached, I'm going to go ahead and grab my sander, and I'm going to use 120 grit here to give it a nice, good finish and get it ready for some staining that I'm going to do a little bit later. Once all that sanding's done, I'm going to grab my 1/4 inch maple plywood. I'm going to go ahead and measure the size and cut it to size exactly. And once I get that on, I'm just going to use my finish nail gun here just to kind of attach that. And once I have that attached, I'm going to grab my 1x2s. And those 1x2s will act as kind of my trim pieces, just kind of give it a nice little pop look to it. And just use my finish nail gun to kind of attach those. And same thing to the front here. I'm just going to kind of measure each individual trim piece, cut them to size, and just go ahead and attach all those. And it just kind of gives a nice, good, clean, finished look here. Here I'm grabbing my 1/2 inch MDF board here. I'm just going to use this for the shelving portion. I'm going to cut a total of 4 of them. Cut those to size. I'm going to cut a notch out. That way it fits in the back portion properly. But as you can see here, I'm just going to cut those notches out. Go ahead and attach those. Just get a nice little finish nail to kind of help hold that in place there. And I can finish my trim pieces once I'm done with that. Get that front trim pieces done. I'm going to go ahead and grab my 1x12s. And I'm going to cut all these. That way I basically have a box hole the size of 11.5 inches. We're going to be using some kind of cloth type boxes to store things in. So that's kind of the size I'm looking for. But the size really depends upon what you need and how many actual square holes you're going to want here. Now here's a neat little trick that I picked up from DIY Man. I have a link here on the video, but I highly recommend you check it out. It's just a real simple way to be able to use screws for added strength, but how to cover up those screw holes by using dowel rods. And he really explains it real well, so I highly recommend you check out his video on that portion. But I use it here because it helps, again, with added strength, be able to use screws. That way you can really have that strength that you need and not have to use finish nails or have any extra wood that you have to use for support. And this really, for the size of this, is perfect, and I don't have to add any extra abrasion or anything. And here I'm just starting to put everything together. Those two taller pieces are going to be 3 foot, and those two shorter ones in the middle are 2 foot. And I'm just, as I'm going along, I'm just measuring and cutting to the size that I need to get all the exact square hole size that I'm wanting for my project here. And you see here, it's just slowly starting to come together. I'm going to have a total of, I think, 14 boxes here for storage on the top portion. So it's going to be a real nice place to be able to store a lot of things. Now I'm going to go ahead and start grabbing my 1x2s here and just start cutting them to size and start putting them on for the front face trim pieces here. Just kind of gives it a nice, good, clean, finished look here. Here I'm just kind of doing my own kind of customized cutting here. I drew a design on there. I'm just using my jigsaw to cut it out. It'll be the top portion. Just kind of give it a nice, good little finish there, unique, and again, customized to what we're looking for. You can do whatever design you want here. It's really not that difficult using a jigsaw. It's actually real simple. I am by no means an artist. I just kind of drew something simple on there, cut it out, and it kind of give it a nice, good look finish to it. And here I'm just going to use my finish nail just to kind of attach this to the top portion like this, and just kind of gives it a nice, good customized look here. Just going to do the same thing for the two top side portions here. Just kind of draw a squiggly line on there, just to kind of, again, kind of give it a good little customized look to it. Once I finish making those boxes at a size that I'm wanting there, again, I'm just going to start using those 1x2s and cutting them to size and measuring each one to make sure they have a nice, perfect fit, and just use them finish nail, just kind of attach all that together. And once I'm done, I'll go over it with some wood putty just to kind of fill in all those nail holes, and you'll never really be able to tell if they're there. Again, this is kind of the last portion of that kind of trick I picked up from DIY Man that you can click a link here, just how it kind of finishes up, and put these dowel rods in here. And once I get done and cut those off and sand them, it gives a nice, good, clean finish. And here comes the fun part. You know, you get to pick out your stain color that you want. I chose red oak stain here, and I'm going to leave the rest of the wood just kind of the natural wood look, but all the trim pieces and the top portion here, I'm just going to do all this red oak stain look to it. And I mean, it really kind of makes it look real nice and finished once you're done staining it. Here, I'm just going back and cutting off all those dowel rods once that glue got a nice good time to dry, and then I'll come back over it and give a nice little bit of sand, and again, it kind of gives a nice, good, clean look to it. And here I'm using that 1/4 inch maple plywood. I use 1/4 inch, that way it's kind of nice and light and keeps it from being too heavy. And this is just going to be the back portion of the actual desk itself. I chose this because it's light, it's simple, but it also helps get that added strength that it needs in the back there. Now this step is kind of up to you if you want to do it or not, but I always like to put a nice kind of finish on top. That way it kind of really helps keep that natural color there. It gives it a little bit of a shine, and also helps protect it, make it last a lot longer. And here it is. I've used some L brackets to kind of support that top portion, keep it from tipping over. This is what the finished product looks like, and if you like the way those doors look, I kind of have a separate video how I make this. Real simple, nothing too difficult, real easy to make a simple door there. But it's all done, and I hope you liked the video. Hope you learned something new. And if you subscribe to my channel, I'm going to try to put up more simple videos. That way you can do your own affordable backyard woodworking.